Here we go again. The trails of former President of the United States Donald Trump seems to be never ending. Every trial brings with it a new and amusing story. Trump never fails to entertain his followers and supporters, but the list extends to even critics. Hello viewers, once again we are here with another news of the day for you. It's not as if it happened the first time, but every trial encloses a new set of action and equally opposite reactions. Trump's facts and allegations seems to always find its way back to him. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? I know you are curious to know what exactly happened. Then why the wait? Here comes the answer.
Very much in favor of the death penalty, especially for terrorists and especially for people that, killers that you see so many with the girls that are being killed and then they capture these guys.
Have to bring back the death penalty. They have to pay the ultimate price.
An LA Times editorial called him, quote, patently unfit for the White House, while the New York Times ed board described him as unfit to lead. And today he asked the judge in the case to toss out that conviction, citing the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity.
He's the worst, he's the most corrupt, the most incompetent president in the history of our country. Did you ever see him swing? He's like this.
Charges against the former President of the United States, Donald Trump, vary in extent and seriousness, and they are pending in 4 distinct states: New York, Miami, the District of Columbia, and Atlanta. There is a courthouse in New York where he has been found guilty. The Republican frontrunner for president in 2024, Donald Trump, has been the subject of several state and federal prosecutions but has consistently denied any wrongdoing. In an effort to get the former president back to the White House, where he would probably be able to avoid or postpone probable jail time, his legal team has also made strategic moves to postpone the different processes for as long as possible. Prosecutors in 2 additional ongoing criminal investigations have designated Trump as an unindicted co-conspirator, meaning that in addition to the instances in which he has been charged, he was identified as a participant in the actions leading up to the charges, but has not been charged themselves. This never-ending rope of charges and non-compliance of law is new held tight by the authorities, and they have started to pull it under the shade of law. Supreme Court's immunity decision published on July 1st, 2024 highlights that presidents are entitled to a presumption of immunity for other official activities, as well as complete immunity when performing their fundamental constitutional duties. Also, the court decided that presidents are not immune from consequences for their non-official actions. The crew behind NPR's program, Trump's Trials, explained the significance of this ruling and how it could impact Trump's legal matters. 1. According to the Supreme Court's decision, presidents are not subject to prosecution for using the core constitutional powers mentioned in Article 2 of the Constitution. These include acting as commander-in-chief, choosing Supreme Court justices and ambassadors, and issuing pardons. This implies that a president cannot be held accountable for acts performed while using these essential authorities, even if such acts are against the law. 2. It is challenging to demonstrate that Trump does not have presumptive immunity from prosecution for all official activities, as determined by the Supreme Court. Jack Smith, the special counsel for the DOJ, has to demonstrate that charging Trump with tampering with elections and leaking secret material does not violate the president's power. Attorney General Merrick Garland's policies guaranteeing the DOJ's independence are jeopardized by this verdict. 3. Although the court decided that the president can be prosecuted for conduct unrelated to his official duties, it is difficult to tell which of Trump's actions were official and which were not. Moreover, evidence of official behavior cannot be used to support an unofficial behavior, and the president's motivations cannot be taken into account during a trial. 4. The court's ruling is a legal victory for Trump, postponing his federal election meddling trial and making the job of Georgian, Florida, and D.C. prosecutors more difficult. It is now their responsibility to determine if Trump is immune from the 54 criminal counts in the ongoing cases. The ruling affects Trump's New York hush money conviction as well, postponing sentence and possibly enabling his defense to refute evidence related to his presidential tenure.
The presidency is the most powerful office in the world. It's an office that not only tests your judgment, perhaps even more importantly, it's an office that can test your character. Because you not only face moments when you need the courage to exercise the full power of the presidency.
Right. First, the former president of the United States is going to be sentenced for 34 felony convictions next week on Thursday. The prosecutors who brought that case and who prosecuted in court that case against Donald Trump, they were due today to make their sentencing recommendation to the judge.
The forthcoming evidentiary hearing before Judge Chutkan in August, which will be delivered by the special counsel, is causing anxiety for both Donald Trump and his legal team. The facts and witness testimony against Trump that will be presented at this crucial hearing before the election make it noteworthy. Judge Chutkan must decide if any portion of the indictment comes within official conduct with a heavy burden of proof, private, unofficial behavior, or fundamental presidential conduct with total immunity in light of the Supreme Court's July 1st immunity judgment. In order to avoid prosecution, Trump's team intends to contend that everything fits under core or official conduct. A schedule has been established by the Supreme Court's ruling, and Judge Chutkan is anticipated to review the matter in early August. In addition to addressing a number of outstanding motions, she will need to determine if the 4 criminal allegations in the indictment are true, especially the ones that deal with obstruction of an official proceeding. To demonstrate Trump's attempts to tamper with the election, the Department of Justice intends to produce a voluminous body of evidence and witness testimony, possibly include prominent personalities such as Rudy Giuliani and Mike Pence. In order to prevent influencing voters before the election, Trump's attorneys wish to settle the issue through written filings rather than open testimony. Given that the election is a critical date, the Department of Justice is adamant about moving forward with the evidence presentation. Judge Chutkan will have to strike a compromise between the merits of the prosecution's case and the electoral consequences of carefully reviewing the indictment.
I am sick and tired of the never-ending injustice being inflicted on our nation by Donald Trump, as now ably assisted by the United States Supreme Court, with their President is King ruling, Judge Tanya Chutkan. I have the utmost respect for and confidence in Judge Tanya Chutkan. Why? Well, for openers, I used to try murder cases against her.
Stuart, the LA Times called Trump manifestly unworthy of holding power. How is it that we are here, just under 4 months to Election Day, and it seems like his record has still not gotten the public scrutiny that any other candidate in the history of ever?
Donald Trump was deemed unfit for president by both the LA Times and the New York Times. MSNBC shared latest breaking news and discussed Trump's 34 offenses found guilty in New York State court and his motion to have the conviction overturned on the grounds of presidential immunity decided by the Supreme Court.
He's the worst, he's the most corrupt, the most incompetent president in the history of our country.
Never been people treated more horrifically than J6 hostages.
We will institute the powerful death penalty for drug dealers.
By the way, a lot of shark attacks lately. Did you notice that?
I said, sir, Chris Christie is not a fat pig. Please remember that. Crazy Nancy Pelosi, who, by the way, is also very cognitively impaired. Have you watched her lately?
Joe Biden's news conferences are characterized by his steady handling of complex themes, while Trump's recent rallies have revealed his volatility and unfitness for leadership. What do you think? Will this further emphasize the extreme agenda of Trump and his supporters, with little scrutiny from within the Republican Party? Do let us know your views in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you are notified as soon as we upload our next video. Thanks for watching.